Sorry, I didn't know we were doing a show. Don't mind me. I was just getting ready to throw this pitch, and apparently, all Twitter thinks I'm cheating because I'm just rubbing on the ball like this or something like this, and so it just seems like all of Twitter just is trying to find a reason why the Astros are doing something. They're cheating. Maldonado's using wrong bats and all that. But hey, guys, we have Game 3 of the World Series. It's going to be Lance McCullers versus Noah Syndergaard. It's going to be an epic matchup, and we'll talk about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at on this nice Sunday?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. This Phillies fan base and Major League Baseball fan base is pissing me off and has me in all kinds of, dude, I am so upset right now. I can hardly see straight, Eric. I just I'll get into it here in a little bit, but the absurdity and the lack of awareness of baseball fans that are low information sheep. They just follow anybody, even Tom Verducci, who irresponsibly reports about a bat. He doesn't even tell us why the bat's illegal. So let's not get into it yet. I don't want to steal all my own thunder early, but I am not happy about this bullcrap because the Astros tied the series 1-1 legitimately. And you know what? They hate it. They absolutely hate we're successful because we're Houston. That's okay. H-Town versus everyone. We don't like you either.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for making a Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. You are making us very successful on YouTube. We're getting closer to 6,000 already. That's pretty impressive in just a matter of a week. We've already almost gained 1,000. I mean, I'm over exaggerating a little bit, but we're getting close there. So, guys, make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast. So, yeah, I know that Saturday's game, a lot happened in that game, and I don't want to focus purely on that, but let's go ahead and push that back to the end. So in case anybody doesn't want to listen to that part, they don't have to listen to that part. But the big part of this matchup is going to be Lance McCullers will be on the mound. I know we kind of talked about it in the game before, in the show before, but we didn't really talk about why. So Dusty Baker was able to address the why of Lance McCullers going first. And he said basically Lance McCullers has been our big game guy. So I'm just glad to have him back. And so Dusty Baker also said this is a very big game. I figured he can keep the ball in the ballpark pretty good with his sinker and his slider. He holds runners on pretty good, which they generally try to run a lot on. So basically, what Dusty Baker is saying is he wanted to go with the cold-blooded assassin out there and just go out there, we've heard all about the Phillies fans, how scary they are and everything, but you need somebody like Lance McCullers to go out there and just dominate them. And that's what he can do.
Yeah. And he even said himself, he said they have guys that really from the jump, like with Schwarber all the way down until at least the middle of that lineup that hit for average and hit for power. McCullers added. And then you have guys at the bottom who you say the at bat like that Bryson Stott had, back in game 2, he was speaking of. That was one of the most impressive at bats I've seen in a while. And when they get on, they can run and they put the ball in play. So they're really a complete team. I'm looking forward to the challenge. Lance McCullers is big game Lance for a reason. Lance McCullers is being put in this spot for a reason. And also, I'll tell you this, that if you were to put Javier in 3 and McCullers in game 4, and then you go to a game 7, you don't want McCullers on a shorter day rest. Christian Javier can go on a shorter
Right.
3-day rest more aptly than a Lance McCullers. And so I think the stars are aligning. I think things are going to work out good. And I have a lot of confidence with Lance McCullers going on the mound because yesterday's game, I mean, those breaking pitches were crushing the Phillies. I mean, there was a whole narrative like someone had to actually report that that Fraber's spin rate was not that much higher than what it was during the regular season, and it was well within the realm of not thinking that maybe he was using some substance. It's just amazing that we live in a day and time when a team's successful, we have to automatically assume that they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And if that's the case for the Astros, then every time the Phillies have success, I need to go find what they're doing wrong. Like, are they cheating? Because there's no way they can actually do good on their own merit. That's basically what they're saying, Eric. 6 straight ALCS, 4 World Series, and this false narrative that keeps getting bumped around. It is absolutely, like, it's unmitigated. It's a complete disaster. And anyone with any intelligence can't honestly think that the Astros are doing something in game 2. That's just completely absurd.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about this scandal in a little bit, but I want to get back to the matchup. It's going to be Lance McCullers versus Noah Syndergaard. Noah Syndergaard is he's kind of been kind of a reliever with the during the postseason for the Phillies. They haven't really needed him much. In fact, the last time he pitched, I believe it was only he only threw 35 pitches in Game 4 of the NLDS, where he only pitched 3 innings. So this is going to be probably a bullpen game, and for the Phillies, so this is something that that could be in the Astros' advantage. They do have the deeper bullpen. Lance McCullers can go deep into this game if he is token like what he normally is in the playoffs. And I know his last start, he didn't look entirely great against the Yankees. They still won that game, but Noah Syndergaard is kind of the key. He needs to go at least 3 to 4 innings for the Phillies, just so you're not eating up the entire bullpen. But he has faced the Astros this year, and he's faced them. I believe it was on if it wasn't opening day, it was pretty close to opening day. But the Astros won that game 2-0. He pitched 5 1/3 innings. He only had one strikeout and didn't allow any runs. He faced them later on in the year. I think it was July 12th. It
Yes.
was a 6-5 loss for the Astros. He only pitched 4 innings. He gave up 3 runs, 1 home run, 4 walks, and he had 3 strikeouts in a game. So far this year, they have not really. He hasn't really struck out a lot of Astros batters. And if you're looking at who's had success, Aledmys Diaz has a home run in 6 at bats with 2 hits against him. Everybody else has 1 hit, and collectively they're batting 188 and 579 OPS against him.
Yeah, Noah Syndergaard is not a pitcher I'm worried about. I mean, if
Yeah.
this is who you're throwing at this team in game 3, not at all concerned. I mean, we literally, even though we lost game 1, we literally tagged Zach Wheeler. So the next time we face Zach Wheeler, I don't have any problems with it because this team knows how to handle him. And this team got aggressive this game. They jumped on pitches early, and I assume they're going to take the same approach in Philly. I know people are worried about the weather and stuff. There's like a 70% chance of rain in the area in the evening. But when weather, and let me just give you a little lesson on weather forecasting. When they say 70% chance of rain, that means there's a 70% chance that in that radar area that somebody's going to get rain. It doesn't mean that the entire city is going to get rain. And so they really are looking good. Tuesday is the most bleak day, Eric, for weather. I
Right.
don't think weather will delay or postpone any games. They may have a delay on Tuesday, but I would say that I hope when you're betting, you're not betting on the weather, but I hope that you are looking at the line of what Lance McCullers is projected to do, how many strikeouts that he's going to get, maybe prop bet like who's going to hit the first home run, who's going to score first, how are they going to score. You can do first pitch prop bets, all kinds of stuff. BetOnline.net is your number one source for betting on football and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts.
All right. So Rob Manfred had some comments about the Astros. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But looking at game three, who needs to be in the Astros lineup? I think you ride Aledmys Diaz for right now, and unless he just feels really good against with Trey Mancini. But I just say you go to Aledmys Diaz at this point. Mancini hasn't really shown anything, and at least Aledmys Diaz can pretend like he's trying to get hit by a pitch or something. And I believe that
He
Dusty.
claimed, hey,
Yeah,
it,
go
in
ahead.
his defense, he said he didn't lean into that pitch. I mean, I don't think he leaned into that pitch. I'll be real honest, and I'm not being a homer. Watch the replay. He was not leaning. He was turning to avoid the pitch. He couldn't see the pitch with his head turned. I just whatever. He didn't lean into that pitch. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Dusty Baker made a comment about it. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's not a big deal. I'm not worried about that. It was just funny at the time because it was the one right before it was almost hit him, and he's like, you know what? If that happens again, let me accidentally lean in. But I don't know if that's what happened. But it's just kind of funny. But something we did not talk about is the guys in right field who said that Kyle Schwarber's ball was foul.
Yeah.
Because there's some they showed them on TV and they're like, no, it's foul, it's foul. So I don't know if they were really the ones that made the umpires actually
No,
review that.
no, that
But
no. Every home run is reviewed.
yeah,
Every home run is reviewed like that. They just kind of made. They were like they said basically, Houston Thor in the Avengers. Basically helped save the day. But that Kyle Schwarber, go back and watch that. He didn't even leave the box.
right.
I think he knew it was foul. He was going off what the umpire was kind of signaling towards him.
No,
He
I
did
thought
not
he
leave the
no
box.
no he ran around the whole bases. I thought.
He did, but he didn't leave the box initially. He
Oh,
hit the
okay.
ball and he saw it go and he didn't leave the box. He hesitated until he saw the umpire and then he went. He knew it was foul. Kyle Schwarber knew it was foul because I mean, from that perspective, there's no way you see that ball going around that foul pole. There's no way. I mean, that's a massive yellow foul pole with a big Chick-fil-A cow on it, and it went to the right of it. And, thank you, Lord, for that next pop fly being 8,000 feet in the air and Kyle Tucker catching it. That would have changed. That would have changed the complexion of the game. I still think the Astros would have won. But that's where these Phillies hitters are dangerous. What I love right now is I don't hear people talking about the Phillies bats and the Phillies pitching and how the Astros need to watch out for it. I keep hearing the Phillies need to watch out for the Philly crowd. Now, I do want to share this because Indy Kalu on the radio this morning was basically warning Astros fans who were going out to the game in Philadelphia. And what he said was, let me find it here.
While
He
you're
said
doing that,
this.
I need to give the stats. Lance McCullers did face the Phillies earlier, actually a couple weeks ago, or maybe at the end of the season. That was one of the final starts. That was the game that clinched the playoffs for the Phillies. So he started that game. He pitched 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, 1 run, 1 home run, had 5 strikeouts in that game. So through 94 pitches. So far, so good for Lance McCullers versus the Phillies. And if you're looking at who's had success against him, Kyle Schwarber has a home run against him. So, and he's batting 502 at bats. Gene Segura is the guy with the most at bats. He has 4 hits and 23 at bats. Doing the math, that's a 174 batting average. So, overall, the Phillies are batting 214 against him with a 563 OPS. So, go ahead, Brett.
Oh no, I was just saying that he said that. I mean, because we know people that are going to the games. They were like, to Astros fans, because he actually indically played for the Eagles. To any Astros fans traveling and the Astros win, just keep your head down and walk out. Celebrate in your car or in your hotel room. he said that on In the Trenches, on one of the morning talk shows this past week. So, when you go there, be aware. I know there are certain fans that like to post videos of them being loud and in the faces of other fans. I don't think they'll take too well to it. But the perfect fuel for any fire is gasoline. And the gasoline for the Astros is the jeering and the booing. And Eric, I found this, and I want to throw this up here for those of us, for those people that are watching it. This is from a Phillies fan page. Okay, this is what they showed. Phillies, let's make Citizens Bank Park the most inhospitable place in that the Astros have ever seen. Cheating, scandal chants, banging on trash cans, personal digs at the players. Blank these cheaters. They spelled the F word with a PH. That's inventive. Let's not let them get another game in Houston. Phillies in 5. I want to focus on that last phrase. Let us not let them get another game in Houston. You know why? Because they know if it comes back to Houston, they're in trouble. They know that their team is not as complete as ours. And so they're going to put all this negative energy, just like Seattle did, and it didn't work. They're going to put all this negative energy, just like New York did, and it doesn't work. Like, if you read the owner's manual and it says to do things a certain way and it doesn't work any other way, then I don't know why you would do that. Exactly. Last year, Chicago was aggressive. I do remember that. Lance McCullers and Christian Javier are cold-blooded on the mound. They don't care. Like, Lance is literally tweeting, do they think we give an F on Twitter? Like, he's literally saying that. He doesn't care. And the players still have to play. I don't think the players are any part of this. I do think that their players get up for that. I think that they get fueled by that. But not only is that key, but the Astros haven't lost on the road in the playoffs. I keep hearing about them not losing any home games, but the Astros also haven't lost on the road. So this will be the first defeat in this setting for either team, no matter who loses.
Yeah, so Dusty Baker was asked if Christian Javier will start game 4. His answer was probably. So why can't you just come out and say, yes, Christian Javier will start? It's
I
crazy,
don't know. It's
but yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I just sometimes like this whole like mystery, like not telling you, like honestly, sometimes it gets really annoying. It's like just freaking say it. Like every other team that we played has always had their pitcher rolled out before us. Like it's a mystery. Christian Javier is going in game 4. You're not going to pitch Jose Urquidy. He hasn't pitched in like what 20 days. I
Mhm.
mean, so you're going to go with Christian Javier. You're not going with Justin Verlander. You're not going with Lance McCullers because he pitched the day before. You're not going with Framber Valdez. The only other person, you're not going with Luis Garcia. You're going with Christian Javier because you want to be able to use him if you have a game 7. Just say it, guys. Just say it.
Yes. So just remember 5 years ago that Lance McCullers pitched game 7 of the 2017 World Series, and he'll return to basically the World Series in game 3 on Monday. And he said, I'm looking forward to the challenge. And so we'll see what happens there. But McCullers has 2 World Series starts, both in 2017. He's given up 3 runs, 7 hits, 4 walks, and hit 4 batters in 7 2/3 innings. He also drove in a run in game 7 in 2017 while just pitching 2 1/3 innings at Dodger Stadium. So we know that he spent most of the year recovering from his injury, and he said that this is what he had to say about the Phillies lineup. The guys really have the jump with Schwarber all the way at the top until at least the middle of the lineup that hit for average and hit for power. And then you have the guys at the bottom who you saw at bat with Bryson Stott had tonight in game 2. That was one of the most impressive at bats I've seen in a while. And when they get on, they can run and they can put the ball in play. So they're just a really complete team. I look forward to the challenge. The Astros already have a very complete team themselves. And so we'll see what happens there. But I just think that the reason why Dusty Baker went with McCullers in game one on the road, like I said yesterday, is the fact that he is used to this situation, maybe a little bit more than Christian Javier. And that's not a knock against Javier, because Javier did show what he could do at Yankee Stadium. But I think this is more of a let me see what happens by throwing out Lance McCullers. And then if you need him, he would be available for potentially game 7.
So let's get to this Framber Valdez and Martin Maldonado talk. I mean, this is pretty interesting because the pitching ninja came to the defense of Framber Valdez, and he showed a video from game 1, Eric, where he calls him fidgety Framber, okay? And he just does that. And Framber even explained in the press conference that this is what they do in the Dominican. This is what they do growing up to distract the batter, to make the batter think that they're doing something. And that's always been a part of his routine from game 1 to game now. And it's funny, none of this stuff came up in the previous game with anything going on. And now that the whole Martin Maldonado bat thinks, I want to kind of, shrink this down a little bit, give you my takes, and then I want to see what you think. The bat that was used that's illegal was deemed illegal not because it gave the batter an advantage. It's because the bats splintered and shattered more frequently. It was a hazard to the players on the field because when the bats were breaking, they were shattering. Now, what's interesting is Major League Baseball continued to let Pujols use it for the last 12 years. But those bats were deemed illegal, not because they gave an advantage, but because of that. But the way that it was reported, Eric, and this is what's so frustrating to me, the reporters simply said, Martin Maldonado used an illegal bat yesterday. The league informed him, and now he has a different bat today. He put no context. He said nothing about the bat, why it was illegal, anything about the grandfathering. He left this hanging, low fruit, bad story to make the Astros look bad. And Verducci should be ashamed of himself as a national reporter to basically take this team that has had to put up with the crap they've had to put up for 2 years. And yes, it's their own doing. But now to basically make another false narrative. John Boy Media pushing the same thing. John Boy and Jake, shame on you too. It's ridiculous. I'm sick and tired of our team being kicked down the road and kicked in the face and no one stands up for them. Well, damn it, I'm standing up for Martin Maldonado today. I'm sick and tired of y'all's BS. I'm sick and tired of your false reporting. If you're a reporter, by God, and you can't report properly, give me your mic and I'll do your job for you because I guarantee you I'd knock it out of the park.
Alrighty. So in game 1 of the World Series, Martin Maldonado used Pujols' bat, and he went 1 for 3 with an RBI. And so it wasn't a big difference, but yeah, I get what you're saying. And Maldonado said that's his bat. You've got 22 years in business. He can use whatever bat he wants. And like you said, it's just a safety issue because the multi-piece bat failures that happened on the field. So it's not to give him the extra edge. It's to just protect the players on the field. And so I saw so many TikToks today, and I even sent you one. And it's just like these guys are just saying illegal bats, they're cheating. Why is he not suspended? You've got to really just do your research before you start doing these claims. But that's who the Houston Astros are. They are a team that other teams just like to say, oh, they won. They must have cheated. Framber Valdez, he's doing this. That's sweat there. But that's probably something else, even though umpires check him 3 times a game. And then I saw a video where somebody's like, well, you see, he kind of puts his hand in his pants to just wipe the foreign substance off so he wouldn't get caught. It's called sweat.
Yeah. And, Jay mentions here, he says, he goes, I got to meet Chris Mad Dog Russo at game 1. I thanked him for helping change the narrative on the Astros because he's been defending them lately. And it's just one of those things. And I feel like I'm saying what other people are feeling and they don't have the microphone to say. So I'm trying to be their voice because I met with some fans this weekend that were fans of our team. And they said, you know what? When you have an opinion about something and when it's something that's against our Astros, I like hearing what you have to say because a lot of times I would say the same thing. And so while all of y'all, I don't speak for everyone who listens to this show. I don't even speak for Eric. I speak for myself, but I speak a common opinion that goes across the spectrum in Locked On Astros Nation, and that we are sick and dang tired of it. Like, I don't get it anymore. I used to say I get it, but I don't. Like, that's what losers do. Losers go and try to chop down or ruin someone else's success and make it illegitimate when they win. That's what losers do. And if you want to have a loser mentality and you want to be a victim, trust me, when I get into the victim mentality, I jump myself right out of that because I'm a victor and this team is victorious and this team is successful and this team has earned every bit of these 6 ALCS. They've earned every bit of these 4 World Series titles. Yes, even 2017. Look at the stats, big nerds. Come on, look at the stats. Look
Yeah,
at the stats.
Yeah, even Rob Thompson was like, it's all over Twitter. The umpires check these guys after almost every inning. And if there's something going on, MLB will take care of it. So, all you keyboard warriors out there trying to get out on the Astros, just let it go. And even Valdez was asked about, well, why did you change the cleats in the middle of the game? Why do you always change your glove? And he said that's just something. These are some tendencies that Dominican players have to stay loose. And this is what he said. They're just tendencies that Dominicans players do, just stay loose. Just tendencies. The important thing, obviously, is that to win, and we're winning. Obviously, winning legally, but yeah, just some random tendency. And also, he changed his glove and cleats during start. And he said, "Well, it was just a fact that it's just a Dominican tradition. Like you're not supposed to wear your game cleats to warm up." And he didn't have time to switch his game cleats, so he ended up wearing his warm-up cleats to the game for a little bit. And then a lot of people made a big deal about it. Then we saw that one video a few weeks ago about well, the Mariners. It appeared like they could see a curveball coming, and so he went and changed his glove. And Valdez just said that's just what we do. We change things up. It's just something to keep our mind
Yeah.
focused.
Look, I agree with World Traveler. I think next year they're going to ban sweat next season. They're going to create a fabric where you don't sweat, where the fabric absorbs every bit of sweat on your body. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the Astros have a game 3 set up perfectly. They came out and they did the perfect counterpunch, Eric. They, I think, to perfection defeated the Phillies ace. Now
Yeah.
the Phillies have to rely on Syndergaard and Ranger Suarez. Excuse me if those two names don't strike fear in my Astros heart. They just don't. And their bullpen does not strike fear in my heart either. I know they handled business in game 1, and maybe game 2 you can say they kind of handled business after Wheeler got off, but the bottom line is the Astros hitters are better, the Astros bullpen is deeper, and the Astros starters are better. And we like it. Our guys like it when they get cheered, when they get jeered, when they get booed. I think he goes, Jay Roberts says we love playing the Rangers. Yes, I love that his name is Ranger Suarez. Let's beat him in honor of the American League West Rangers, right?
Yeah. And I know somebody said in the comments that Valdez is just doing it as a competitive advantage just to mess with people's heads. And I'm not too worried about it. I'm just glad that even Thompson is just like, yeah, that's not a big deal. If it was something that we were worried about, you trust me, we'll be out there taking care of business. So, and to go off what you said, the Astros have already faced their best 2 pitchers. They scored
Yeah.
5 runs off of both of them. And if we have to face them again, I'm not scared of them. The Astros shown that they can take care of business. So I think tomorrow's game is very critical. You got to squash the crowd on their first home game of the World Series. And I think with Syndergaard on the mound, he's not the most dominating person, but it's just going to be who's going to be the relievers that come in after that. So I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring. I think the Astros are going to win this one 7-2.
High scoring for the Astros. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So they shut it down. Well, I'm not gonna predict a score, Eric. I just think the Astros get it done. I mean,
Okay.
I think they get it done. I think the Astros pitching shut down the Phillies, and please don't do that. I can get the
I,
sound on the mic.
well, I'm Farmer Valdez. I'm just
No, stop. Come on. We talked about this in the little private chat here. Okay, no more. All right, we're going to end on there. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. He's Eric Huysman. This is your Game 3 preview. We'll be back with a live post-game edition, all things World Series. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for making us your first listen every single day. And make sure you make Locked On Sports today your second listen. Check out Locked On Sports and be the genius around the water cooler. If you want to talk about all the things going on in the sports world in 22 minutes or less, they will give you what you need. Locked On Sports today, available on Odyssey, on Spotify, on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. For myself, Eric Huysman, like always, go Stros.